Welcome to Flutter Teacher. In last videos, we have seen what is list, different ways of creating a list. We also seen different properties that a list supports. In this specific video, we are going to cover different properties and the methods that list class supports. So if you don't know about a list, I recommend you guys to watch my video where I have talked about list in detail. So without wasting time, let's get started. I will start from the different properties that a list class supports. List class supports variety of properties. Out of this, I'm going to cover very important and most frequently used properties. Let's examine this example. Here I have created a list of animals. I have 4 animals in my list. If I want to get length of the list, simply I have to use length property that gives me length of the list. In this case, I have 4 elements. That's why it gives me length as a 4. If I want to get first element from the list, simply I can use the property called first that gives me the first element. In this case, I'm getting a cat. In order to get the last element from the list, simply you have to use last property that returns the last element. In this case, I'm getting the rat. If I want to check whether my list is empty, that is whether there is any element in my list or not, I can simply use a property called isEmpty. isEmpty gives me true if my list is actually empty, and if my list contains some data, in this case it gives me false. So in this example, this list is not at all empty, it contains the data. That's the reason it gives me that is list empty, it gives me false because my list is not empty. There is one more property which is opposite to that of isEmpty, that is called isNotEmpty. It gives you true if your list is not actually empty, and it gives false if your list is empty. So in this case, as my list is not empty, so I'm getting true, that is this list is not empty. List supports the property called reverse, which is used to obtain reverse list from your original list. Make sure that this property won't reverse your original list. Rather, it returns another list which is actually a reverse list of your original list. That's the reason I have used animals.reverse. It actually returns me the reverse list of original one, and when I'm printing the reverse list, you can see I'm getting the elements in reversed order. Make sure that this reverse property won't return the actual list. That's why you can see it's not in the form of a list. It actually returns the iterable to me. And if I want to convert this iterable to list, simply I have to write toList, and that gives me the actual list. Now, if I rerun the program, you can see instead of having that rounded bracket, it's giving a square bracket, indicating that it's actually a list returned by this reversed along with this toList method. If you don't understand what is this toList, just watch this video properly. After some time, I'm going to explain what is this toList in detail. List class supports huge set of methods. It's not possible for me to explain all the methods in this video. That's the reason I'm focusing on the specific methods of the list which are most frequently used. My intention is to make you guys more comfortable for the Flutter application development. So I will focus on the methods which are actually used in the Flutter application development. Let's talk about add and insert. Let's observe this example. Here I have the list of animals, cat, dog and tiger. On animals, I'm calling method add with the value monkey. The value monkey will be added at the end of this list because add method is used to add a new element in the list, and it always add the element at the end of your list. That's the reason monkey will be added at the end of this list, that is after the value called tiger. Now if you feel that you don't want to add a value at the end of list, instead you want your value to be added at a specific index in the list, simply you have to call a method called insert and pass the first parameter as the index where you want your value to be inserted, or let's say added. In this case, I have written 2 here, and I'm passing the value as a horse. It means the horse will be added at the second index. I'm going to run this program and let's look at the output. You can see my initial values are cat, dog and tiger. When I use add monkey, so monkey is added at the end of this list, and as I'm inserting horse at the second index, you can see the cat and dog remains as it is, and the horse is added as the second element in the list, and tiger, monkey, they're shifted to the next position. Let's talk about addAll and insertAll methods. As the name suggests, addAll method is used to add all elements of one list into another list, and insertAll is used to insert all elements of given list into the another list at specific index. Let's look at this example. Here I have a list 1 where I have specified 3 animals, cat, dog and tiger. I have a second list where I have 2 animals, lion and the monkey. Now what I want to do, I simply want to add all the elements of list 1 at the end of list 2. Then I can call list2.addAll. In bracket I have passed the list 1. It means all the elements of list 1 will be added at the end of list 2. So finally, when I run this program, you can find the list 2 will have the value lion and monkey, which are the actual value I have specified, and thereafter the values of cat, dog and tiger, these are the values of list 1 I am getting at the end of list 2. Here I have a list 3 with 3 elements, rat, frog and goat. What I want to do, I want to insert all elements of list 1 at first position in the list 3. For this reason I have used list.insertAll. I have specified the index called 1 and the list 1. It means all the elements of list 1 will be inserted at first position in the list 3. It means when I print the list 3, I will get a rat as a first element, that is, I will get rat as the 0th element. Then all the elements of list 1, that is cat, dog and tiger, will be inserted at the first position, and the frog and goat, they will be shifted to the next position. Let's talk about various methods of removing the element from the list. Look at this example. Here I have a list in the form of fruits where I have the fruit mango, apple, lemon, orange and kiwi. If I want to remove the element at specific index, I need to call a method called removeAt where I have to specify the index. So in this case, I have specified the index 1. It means the element at one position, that is the apple, will be removed from the list. Now what if I'm passing the index which is not available in the list, that is I'm passing an index which is beyond the range of this list. In this case I will get an exception called range error that we have seen in our last video. If you want to remove specific element from the list, then we have to call a method called remove. Here we have to specify the element that you want to remove. In this case I want to remove the element called orange. That's the reason I use fruits.remove in bracket orange. It means the value or the element orange will be removed from the list. Now you can see the remove method will return the value in the form of boolean. It means the element that you have passed, if it is actually removed from the list, you will get true. But consider that you are passing the element which is not actually available in the list. So it's not possible to remove that element. In this case, it gives you the value false, indicating that such an element that you are trying to remove is not actually present in the list. Now, if you want to remove last element from the list, simply you can call the method removeLast that simply removes the last element from the list. And if you want to remove all elements from the list, simply call the method called clear. This will clear out all the elements from the list and makes your list be empty. Now I'm going to run this program and let's look at output. Now you can see I have removed the element at first position, that is the apple. So in this case the apple is removed from the list. Then when I'm calling remove orange, you can see orange is not available in the list, it's actually removed. When I'm calling the remove last, the element kiwi is removed from the list, and when I'm calling the clear method, I'm finally getting the empty list. List provides a method called removeRange that allows you to remove the element in a specific range. RemoveRange method will accept two parameters from you. The first is called the starting index and the next is called end index. This method removeRange will remove the elements from starting index up to end index -1. In this case, I have passed the index 1 and the 4. It means it will remove all the elements between the range 1 to 3 so that the apple, lemon and orange will be removed from the list. That's the reason when I'm printing my final list, you can see my list only have the mango and kiwi. So apple, lemon and orange, they are simply removed from the list. List provides a removeWhere method using which we can remove all the elements that satisfies the given condition. In this example, I have a list of fruits with the value mango, apple, lemon, orange and kiwi. And what I want to do, I just want to remove all the elements that contains the letter small o. For this, I need to use a method called removeWhere. So removeWhere method actually requires function as a parameter. For those who don't know function and all these things, don't worry, please subscribe my channel and wait for the video where I will talk about functions and everything about the function detailed in those videos. For this video, let's focus here. removeWhere method requires function as a parameter. This function will iterate for all elements in the list, that is, it will have individual list element as a parameter. That's the reason I have specified fruit here, and over individual element, that is over each fruit, I'm checking condition that there must be a small o letter available here, and the element that satisfies this condition will be removed from the list, and the element those who don't satisfy the condition, they won't be removed from the list. That's why when I run this program, you can find all the element that contains small o, that is mango, lemon, will be removed from the list, and I have the apple, orange and kiwi with me. Now let's say if you want to remove all the element that contains small o as well as the capital O, simply you have to change your condition. Now you can see I have modified my code, and here I have changed the condition. I'm just taking if fruit contains small o or if fruit contains the capital O. In both these cases, I'm returning true, means I want to remove the element that contains small o as well as a capital O. And if there is no small o or capital O in the fruit name, don't do anything, that is, they are not getting removed from the list. So when I'm printing the list, you can see all the element that contains small o and capital O, that is mango, lemon, orange, are removed. Simply the list has value apple and kiwi remain here. List supports the method called retainWhere, which is opposite to that of removeWhere. Consider this example. Here I have a list of fruit with mango, apple, lemon, orange and kiwi. I want to remove all the elements except those that contains a in the fruit name. So that's the reason I use here retainWhere. This retainWhere requires a function as parameter which will iterate for all elements in the list, and it will accept the individual element as a parameter. I'm checking condition that fruit dot contains a. So whatever fruit, that is whatever element that contains small a letter, it won't be removed from the list, and remaining element that don't contains a will be removed from the list. Let's look at output. You can see mango contains a, that's why it's available in my list. Even orange contains a small a, that's why it's still retained, that is available in the list. But all the element that won't contains this a, that is this apple don't contain small a, lemon don't contains a small a, and the kiwi don't have small a letter in it. That's the reason they are simply removed from the list. Make sure that retainWhere method is exactly opposite to that of removeWhere method. List provides the method called indexOf and lastIndexOf in order to get the first index of specific element and to get the last index of specific element. Look at this example. Here I have a list of some items in the form of integer values. You can see the value 20 is appeared 3 times in the list. This is the first occurrence, this one is the second occurrence, and this is the third occurrence. Now if I want to get first occurrence where the value 20 is available, I can call a method called indexOf on the items, and I'm passing the value 20. This indexOf method will give me first occurrence of 20 in the list, that is the position where 20 has occurred first time. So obviously it has occurred at the first place. That's the reason when I run this program, you can find it gives me index of 20 is 1. However, if I want to find last index of 20, that is I just want to check what is the last position where 20 has found in my list. In this case, I can call a method called lastIndexOf 20. This lastIndexOf method gives me the last occurrence, that is the last index where the 20 has found. So it has found at the 6th position in my list. That's the reason in output I'm getting 6th at the last index of 20. Dart provides very important method in the list called sort, which is most widely used method over the list. Sort method can be simply used to sort the simple values, or we can sort based on our custom logic. How it can work, let's look at this one practically. In this case, I have a list of some elements. These are 10 integer values, and I simply want to sort these values in ascending order. So simply I can call the method item.sort. This will sort my values based on ascending order. So if I print these values, you can see I will get my elements in the sorted order. That's really nice. What if I just want to sort my elements in reverse order? There are two techniques. The technique number one is simply call the sort method on your element and just call reverse over element and save this in the another list. You can see I have called item.sort, which will sort my element in ascending order. Then I'm getting the reverse list. I'm simply calling item.reverse, and the reverse list I'm collecting in the another variable called reverse list. And when I run this program, you can see when I'm printing the reverse list, it's actually giving me the sorted elements in the descending order. Let's look at a second technique in order to perform sorting in descending order. In this case, what I have done, I have simply passed a function as parameter in the sort. This sort function will accept two values. Basically, these are the first element and second element. It is mostly called as a left element and right element. I am simply checking condition that if my left element is less than the right element, I am returning 1, otherwise I am returning 0. This is simply a bubble sort kind of logic. In this case, it will sort my elements in descending order. And finally, when I am printing the items, you can see I will get my list sorted in descending order. Let's understand how I can use the sort method in order to sort the custom kind of values. If you have int value, double value, string value, very easily you can sort those values based on their original content, because sort method supports this single value type. But what if I want to sort the custom kind of data? Let's say I have the data in the form of person object. So for those who don't know class and all these concepts, don't worry, just stay tuned with me. In my upcoming videos, I will talk about classes, constructors and all the things. Just for this video, I'm requesting you guys to have a focus. In this case, I want to sort the custom data, that is the data of type person. That's the reason I have created a class called person here. This person class has two properties, the name and the age, that specifies name of the person and the age of person. This is the constructor which will accept the name and age. And in order to print the data, I'm simply overriding a method called toString. This is simply printing the name, and in bracket it will print the age of this particular person. Now inside the main, I have created few persons here: Sam, John, Alex, Mark and the James, and I have passed different age for these persons. And now what I want to do, I just want to sort this data based on their ages. So in this case, I use personList.sort. So for the sort, I want to define my own logic for sorting. That's the reason I have specified a function here, and this will accept two parameters, the left element and the right element. The left element is actually a person object, and this right element is again a person object on the right hand side. So I have to simply compare left side person along with the right side person. So as I want to sort the element based on these ages, simply I am writing if left.age, that is the age of left side person, is greater than the age of right side person, I am simply returning true. This makes a condition true so that I can sort my elements based on age in the ascending order. So if I run this program and if I check out, you can see my person data is sorted based on the age in alphabetical order. You can see the 18, 21, 25, then 34 and 36. If you want that this person data should be sorted based on descending order of their age, simply use the less than sign instead of greater than. So if I run this program, you can see my person data is now sorted in the descending order of their ages. In order to sort my data based on ascending orders of name, simply I have changed my condition, and when I run this program, you can see I'm getting the output which is actually the sorted person based on their names. The sort method can be used to sort the normal values like int, double and string. Even you can use the sort method to sort your custom kind of data like the person that I have explained here. Shuffle method in list is used to shuffle, that is to arrange your values of list in some random order. It is mostly found in the games and quiz applications. Let's look at this example. In this case, I have the list of items. My data is properly arranged from 1 to 10 and I'm simply calling list.shuffle, and when I'm printing the data, you can see my items value will be shuffled randomly. If I call it again, you can see I will get another output. So every time if I run this program, it gives me a different kind of output because it is shuffling the values based on some random logic. Sublist method in list is used to obtain specific part of list from your original list. This function actually takes two parameters, the starting index and the end index, and it gives you sublist from the starting index to end index -1. Just look at this example. Here I have a list of items that contains the values from 1 to 10, and from this item I just want to extract or get the sublist. Here I have specified the starting index is 0 and the end index is 5. That's the reason this sublist method will collect all the values from 0th index to the 4th index. Make sure it won't go for the 5th index, it goes up to the 4th index. That is, in my small list I will get the values 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So when I run this program, you can see for the small list I will get the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are actually the values between the range 0 to 4th index. Where method is one of the most important methods found in the list class. Let's say if I want to extract specific values from original list, on my elements I just want to specify that every element should satisfy some condition, and the element that satisfies those conditions should be extracted in another list. So in this case, the where method is really helpful. Just look at this example. In this case, I have a list of fruits where I have the values mango, apple, lemon, orange and kiwi. What I want to do, from this original fruit list, I just want to create a custom list. But in this custom list, I have a condition that I want only those fruits that contains small n in their values. So that's the reason I have written where method. Where method takes a function as parameter, and this function will iterate for each and every element of your list, and it will accept the individual element as a parameter. So I have specified fruit as an individual element, and I'm checking condition that this fruit must contain a small n letter. Whatever element that satisfies this condition will be assigned inside this custom list. That's the reason when I'm printing this custom list, you can see all the fruit that contains small n, that is mango, lemon, orange, are appeared in the custom list, but the apple and kiwi, they are not appeared in the list. Where method can also be used over custom kind of data. Let's say I have the class called employee. Here the employee contains properties name and the post, and this is the constructor in employee class, and simply I have overridden method toString in order to print the values like name, and in bracket it will print the post of the specific employee. Now in main I have created few employees, Sam, Mark, Alex, James and John. So what I want to do, this is actually a list of employees I have, but from this list of employees I want to extract the list of managers. That is, this manager list should get all the elements in this employee list, but only those elements whose post is a manager. We can say this is a kind of business logic you can implement inside your Flutter. So where method is really found helpful here. So here I have specified a function as a parameter in the where. The employee is actually the individual element I'm passing as a parameter to this function. For this employee, I'm taking condition that the employee post must be equals to manager. So if it is manager, then only I'm returning true. It means all the employees whose post is manager, they will be added or extracted in the manager list. Other elements won't be extracted. So when I run this program, you can see when I'm printing the manager list, in manager list, I'm simply getting the Mark and James. These are actually the managers in my original data. Make sure that the output that you have got is not actually in the form of a list. So if you want to make output in the form of a list, simply you have to write toList that gives you the actual output in the form of list. So when I rerun the program, you can find that manager list is actually a kind of list data. So this is how you can see this where method is really useful in your normal kind of data as well as on your custom data. whereType method is mostly used to extract the data from your original list based on a specific type. In this example, you can see I have a list. Here I have specified list of some random values, and these are the values of different type. So this is the value of type int, then string, then double, then again string, int, double, and string. From this original list, what I want to do, I just want to extract all the values which are of type string. In order to do that, simply I can use the method called whereType. So along with whereType, I'm passing a type as a string. So what is whereType method will do? It will extract all the elements from the list which is of type string, and the resultant data I'm storing inside my list. That's the reason when I'm printing my list, you can see I'm getting the data Sam, Jack, and Mark, which are actually the string values in my original list. Instead of string, if I specify the list, then what is whereType will do? This will simply extract all the integer elements from the list and it will be assigned to my list. So when I rerun the program, you can find the values 10 and 55 are extracted from the original list and they are assigned to my list. So this is the beauty of whereType method. Map is the most frequently used method you will find in the Flutter development. Map method is basically used to specify the logic that must be executed for each and every element of the list, and you should get the resultant list after performing all the operations over each and every element in the list. Let's look at this example. In this case, I have a list of fruit with the value mango, apple, and lemon. What I want to do, simply I want to convert all these list values into uppercase, and the resultant data I want to store inside a new fruit list. For this purpose, I have called a method called map. Map method takes a function as parameter, and this function should have the individual element as parameter, so that this function should iterate for each and every element over the list. What I have done here, simply I am calling fruits dot to uppercase, that is each and every element of this fruit list I am converting to uppercase and I am retaining that data, and whatever resultant data I have got, I am storing it inside a new fruits. That's the reason when I'm printing the new fruits, you can see my new fruit list, actually the fruit list which are in the capital letters. Now make sure that this data is not actually in the form of list. If you want to get the data in the form of list, simply use toList. Simply use toList. When I rerun the program, you can see the resultant output is actually in the form of list. This map method can be used to perform operations over the normal data like string, int, and double. You can also perform operations over the custom kind of data like employee, object, and student. That's what we have seen in case of where and the sort method. If you really want to learn how to perform various operations over the custom data using the map, please give me that thing in the comments so that I can explain this thing for you guys. Reduce method is used to obtain a single value that you will obtain by performing operation on each and every element of your list. Consider this example. Here we have a list of elements 10, 20, 30 and 40. What I want to do, I just want to perform addition of all these elements. So simply I can use a reduce method here. In reduce method, we need to pass two parameters. These are actually the value and the next value. Inside the body of loop, I am simply returning the addition of value along with the next value. That gives me the addition of all the elements present in the list. So when I print the sum, you can see I am getting sum of all elements, that is the 100. Make sure that reduce method will never return the list. It always returns the individual value. So that value might be of type integer, it might be of type string, it might be of type double. So the type of reduce value is exactly depends upon the type of your values. Let's say if my value is of type string, then definitely the return type of this reduce will be string. If my value is of type integer, then return type of this reduce will be integer only. So it's very important to have a notice that if my values is of type string, then I can't return the value of type int using the reduce method. Fold method is somewhat similar to your reduce method. The actual difference is in fold method we can start the operations from some specific value, that is from some initial value, and moreover fold method can return any type of value. I hope you guys might remember in reduce method I explained that reduce method can only return the value which is actually a type of value in your list, but in case of fold method this is not a restriction. That is, if we have the list of string, fold method can return any kind of value. So it can return either integer value, string value, double value. So it can return simply any kind of value. Look at this example. In this case, I have a list of some values. Here I have specified the values are 10, 20, 30 and 40. And simply I just want to perform addition of all these values and I want to get the sum in the sum variable. For this I have called a method called fold. This fold method requires initial value, that is from what initial value you want to start your folding or you want to start your calculation. So in this case I'm passing 0, means I'm saying that I don't have initial value. So it takes a function and it should accept two parameters. The first is always the previous value and the next is the element of your list. And if you guys don't know what is this question mark and all these things, these are actually I'm using for null safety. And believe me guys, in my upcoming videos I will talk about null safety in detail. For this video, just try to understand that I'm just performing addition of all elements using the fold method, and when I'm printing the sum, it simply prints the sum of all elements, and that is 100 here. Now if I say the initial value is 0, so it will start from this initial value. So instead of getting 100 here, I will get the value 105 because it is starting logic from the initial value as the 5. List supports the conversion method in the form of toList, toSet and asMap. In many cases, it requires that you want to convert your list into the map or you want to convert your list into the form of set. So these conversion methods are really helpful in case of Flutter development to convert your values in the specific type. Let's look at this example. In this case, I have a list of some elements here, the 10, 20, 30, 20 and 40. Now if I want to convert this list value into actual list type, that is I want to convert value to list type, actually it's in the form of list, but let's say consider that my values are not in the form of list. So if I want to convert iterable kind of value into the list kind of value, simply I can use the method toList and that helps me to convert my iterable kind of value into the list kind of value. So I'm storing the list kind of value into my list, and when I print it, you can see I'm getting the list here. Now let's say I just want to convert my list value into the set value. Simply I can call the method toSet that converts my list value into the set value and returns the resultant set. So I'm storing the set inside is my set. Now you can observe in my original list 20 has appeared 2 times, and I hope you guys might know that in case of set it won't allow duplicate values. So if you don't know set, don't worry, in my next video I will talk about set in detail. Now you can see when I'm using list.toSet, it converts my list value into the set, and inside the set you can observe 20 has appeared only once because list won't allow to duplicate values, and this my set is actually a set type of value. Now if you want to convert your list into the map, then simply call the method asMap. Make sure that the map that you will get is a map in the form of key and value pair, and here key is always the index of your element, that is the my map that I have obtained here will have the values 10, 20, 30, 20 and 40, and here the keys of values are 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, which are actually the index of elements. Try to understand this example. So it's not actually my set, it has to be the my map. Okay, I'm rerunning the program. Now in case of my map, you can see 0 is a key, 10 is a value, 1 is a key of element, 20 is a value, 2 is again a key and this 30 is a value, 3 is a key, 20 is a value, 4 is a key and 40 is a value. For those who don't know map and all this thing, just stay tuned with me. In my upcoming videos, we'll talk about the map in detail. List provides the fantastic methods every and any. Let's say you have some condition that every element of the list must specify, then we can use the method called every. And you have some condition that should be specify at least one element in the list, then in this case we can call the method any. Let's look at this example. In this case I have a list of fruits where I have specified the values mango, pineapple, lemon, orange and banana. I just want that each and every element of this fruit must have the letter n. If it contains the letter n, then only I want this boolean variable my condition must be true, otherwise it has to be false. For doing this, I can efficiently use the method called every. Inside this every method, we have to pass function as a parameter, which will iterate for each and every element in the list, and it takes individual element as a parameter. I am checking condition that fruit should contain value n, and obviously you can see I have written the value in such a format that all my fruits have the small letter m. That's the reason if I run this program, you can see my condition will evaluate to true because all these fruit have the letter small m. But if I specify small o here, now you can see the mango has a small o, but the pineapple and banana, they don't have the letter small o. That's the reason if I run this program, you can see I'm getting my condition as a false because all elements of this list, they are not specifying this condition. But instead of every, if I'm passing any, so what's the difference between every and any? In case of every method, it is compulsory that each and every element should specify your given condition, then only it gives you true, otherwise you will get a false. But using any, if any of the element, that is if at least one element of list specifies your condition, then it gives true. So in this case, I use any here. Now you can see mango, lemon, they're specifying this condition that they have the letter small o. That's the reason when I run this program, you can find the variable my condition is having the value true. So I hope it's very much clear for you guys what is the difference between every and any method. That's it for this video. See you guys in the next video. If you really like the way I'm teaching and I'm explaining the concept, then don't forget to like, share my videos, subscribe my channel.